I know you can't give me a definite, but let's use a Bursa handgun, for example, because we talked about how, let's say the gun is on the table, the magazine's out, there's nothing in the chamber. We still say that's reckless. But what if this gun, the Bursa gun that has an internal gun lock, is locked? The key's been put on and turned in. The gun becomes an inert piece of metal. You cannot use it. How would that stand if a child had access to it, in your opinion?
And the magazine's in?
Okay, we'll say it's in, but trust me, I know what I'm talking about in this one, okay?
I know was the magazine in.
Let's just say, yes, we'll say yes it is. The magazine's in the gun, okay? Nothing in the chamber, which doesn't matter. It's still considered loaded. But the key mechanism, turn it, the gun is inert. You cannot use it until you unlock it. It's an internal lock.
I would say that it's readily dischargeable because of the definition.
Even with the lock.
And I realize that you cannot use it. I realize you cannot use it. It would not be fireable.
Right.
Right? But under the definition.
Could there be an exception to that definition? Because let's say somebody bought that gun specifically because they wear the key thing around their neck, so they have quick access to it, but they don't want to put their child in danger. So they thought it out. They said, here's what I can do. They use that particular type of gun, and Smith & Wessons do it as well on some of their guns. And I did that specifically because I did not want to be in violation of that law.
I think that's the gun you want, right? When you want to leave it on the nightstand at night.
Stocks of Taurus and Smith & Wesson just went up.
I think because look, you gotta have some practical sense in these things too. Remember, the first thing I learned in law school was torch class, torch 1. Right, it was the very first class I had. Okay, and we're talking about trespass. Okay, and she tells us the definition of trespass. Says this, that the guy crosses over the fence, walks on the grass, right, and realizes it's the wrong pasture, but he continues one more step, and then he walks off, and she's asking, is that trespass? And there's all these kids talking about, they're giving very technical arguments. And then, nobody's getting it right. And she says, no! It's not trespass unless you get caught. Okay? And so unless you get caught, it's not a trespass. And so you got to realize you're probably not going to have this situation.
Like I'd be in jail today. I just haven't gotten caught.
So, hey, man, plead the fifth. Tell me. So it's kind of like, if they go and take the weapon and if they take it to school, you're going to get in trouble here. If you see them grab the firearm, yes, they were made accessible, but nobody else knows about this but you and the child.
I know, but after $10,000 and a good attorney, and I prove it to the court that I did it not intentionally, I'd be good to go, right?
And if it absolutely cannot fire, you know that there's no danger there. You know? Mm-hmm. You know there's no danger. I'm not going to, you're trying to get me to admit I'm expensive.
What about in a similar case, you have the firearm, but it has a gun lock on it. And the gun lock is active, but the magazine is nearby.
That's not, right? Because the magazine is not loaded. It's not readily dischargeable.
But you made that comment that it could be potentially reckless.
I would argue in your situation that it's not readily dischargeable. But I'm just telling you.
What makes the difference is the magazine being present in the
even in the gun that he's talking about, if the magazine's in there, I would argue that. I think that there's a really good argument for that. But I'm telling you, I'm not going to tell you that's legal right now.
People in my classes who ask me that question. That's why I bring up all these different freaking scenarios.
I'm not going to tell you, sitting right here with my license on the line, to do that and think that it's legal.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, I think under the definition,
but you see, that
the state is going to be able to charge you for it being readily discharged. Now,
I think you're giving is a good answer to the person listening, because they go, oh, it's one of those where I don't want to go down that path. I want to make it clear. I'm not looking for you to commit yourself.
I think there's a good argument to be made, but I also think under the words of the law, right, you have technically, there is a technical violation.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is why I say, if you don't pay attention to this segment of the show, you're crazy, because he's giving you the answers. When he doesn't give you the answer, that's a clear answer that you might want to change your policy on how you do things, okay? If he says no or yes, hey, man, I'm going to stick by it because the man knows what he's talking about. All right, look, times are ticking away. Ross, we are sponsored by Coupling Dodd Krebs Law Firm. Rick Dye, awesome, sponsors the program. Part of it with all the other sponsors. You come on, attorney extraordinary, do a fantastic job. Why don't you tell everybody